For many people, buying a home will be the biggest financial investment of their life, often exceeding $100,000 or more. If you had a $100,000 income tax issue, would you try to tackle it without a tax professional like a CPA? If you had a $100,000 legal liability, wouldn't you find an attorney? A home purchased without the guidance and strategic help of a licensed real estate agent can become a much bigger problem than $100,000. In this tutorial, we're looking at 3 very important considerations you can't afford to ignore. Why use a real estate agent? How to choose the right real estate agent? And should you sign a buyer's agent representation agreement? Why use a real estate agent? Agents do this for a living. A real estate agent is to a home buyer what a marriage counselor is to a young couple, or a tax advisor is to a tax filer. They bring the facts and share their experience, so you can see clearly. They shouldn't make decisions or choices for you, but people who lead busy lives and juggle multiple commitments can't possibly begin to compare their ability with the value an agent can bring to the home search. An agent can help assess your needs and wants, then narrow your search to match those. This saves you hours of lost time looking at ineligible properties and lost money spent on travel and inspections. Helping assess your needs and wants doesn't mean pushing you into a neighborhood the agent thinks is right for you. But it does mean knowing what questions to ask and correctly dissecting what's unimportant from what's necessary or critical for your lifestyle and long-term plans. Be prepared to have some heart-to-heart, open conversations with your agent. The home buying process can be uncharted territory and an unfamiliar path. An agent can help familiarize you with the closing process, your pilot and guide that buffers you from surprises and fears throughout the journey. You can't put a price on peace of mind during a real estate transaction, as many homebuyers have discovered. Knowing what you can afford is a key factor in making sure your home search is successful. An agent can help you determine your true buying power by recommending a reliable and knowledgeable lender from their many professional contacts. An agent is a wealth of information. Their resourcefulness is unmatched. Agents have access to not only thousands of homes being shared in the local multiple listing system, but also some homes that haven't hit the market because they're kept in an inner circle or never advertised. A highly connected agent is an invaluable asset and may help locate these hidden gems. And don't forget other vital data you should learn about that home or neighborhood before you make a move. What about the quality of the school districts? Sex offenders in the area? Special assessments that affect property taxes? Pending zoning changes from the county or city that could affect your future plans for your home? What are comparable homes in the area selling for that are similar in design, size, and age? How long are homes taking to sell? This type of data may be new to you, but your agent lives and breathes this stuff every day. As well as managing deadlines, an agent will coordinate the duties and processes of several individuals involved in your home purchase, such as your lender, the settlement agent, the home inspector, contractors when repairs are involved, the pest inspector, the appraiser, surveyor, and maybe unruly tenants. Managing all these processes can be a living migraine for a home buyer to even attempt to handle, but a good agent will take all this in their stride. Here's a great example of how an agent can save you time. Maria needed to buy quickly to relocate her ailing mother shortly after a divorce. She decided looking for short sales was not wise because in her market, they were taking much longer to close than standard sales or bank-owned deals were. Maria called on 51 properties off Realtor.com and had multiple conversations only to discover that 30 of the homes shown were short sales. She wasted 4 hours on messages, callbacks, and conversations, when a buyer's agent could have easily eliminated those 30 homes for her just by reading the remarks section on the MLS listing. If using a real estate agent is important, how do you choose the right one to work with? How do you choose the right real estate agent? Most buyers pick an agent by driving down neighborhood streets and calling numbers on yard signs. What they don't realize is that the agent whose number is brightly displayed on that sign has a binding, signed agreement with the seller of that property, with a duty to bring that seller the highest price and best terms. Think about this for a moment. How is it possible for an agent who's legally bound to bring the seller offers that net the highest price to have your interests at heart? The fact is, An agent caught in the position of trying to represent both buyer and seller cannot truly be impartial to you. Many conflicts and problems can arise if they try. So staying true to the seller's needs and wants is the decision they ultimately make. Some states like Maryland have recognized this and even outlawed dual agency. Let's take a closer look. Agent Jenny is selling the home you like for sellers Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez. Sellers are desperate to sell because Mr. Ramirez has to quickly move his entire family from Michigan to California to take on a new job he's been hired for. In his mind, getting top dollar for the home is not as important as getting out from underneath it because he knows he can't afford 2 housing payments if the house were to sit. Agent Jenny asks you about your financial situation, and you tell her that you love the home, will offer full price, and have enough money saved for down payment plus closing costs. You also tell her you would much prefer to keep $7,000 of your money to remodel the kitchen and landscape the backyard. You tell Agent Jenny to ask the seller to kick in $7,000 to cover your closing costs. Jenny smiles, assures you she'll get you the best deal, and meets the sellers on a Friday night to present your offer. In that conversation around the Ramirez's kitchen table, since she is legally bound to inform the seller of all facts affecting the sale, Jenny lets them know that you have enough money and would probably still buy the home without any seller concessions for closing costs. Within 24 hours, she comes back to you apologetic that she couldn't get you the closing costs money you wanted, and wants you to sign the counteroffer that does away with it. You love the home, believe Agent Jenny did her best, and sign. You will never know that even though Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez were desperate and would have given you a concession, the home cost you $7,000 more than it should have. The sad fact is that a buyer's agent representing you would have counseled you never to divulge anything about your financial situation to the seller, and may even have discovered for you why the seller was selling, a fact that would have greatly affected your offer price. The incredible thing is, sellers who use agents to sell their home have already attributed enough money in the listing agreement for a commission to be paid to the buyer's agent, which means you get to enjoy all the benefits of using a buyer's agent without it costing you a dime. Your agent's commission is paid by the seller at closing. Just like Agent Jenny, the listing agent representing the seller has a written legal contract with the seller, which makes that seller the agent's client. You don't have such a contract, and so you are simply a customer. So how do you choose a good agent? Be ready to ask some tough questions. Look for one that's got a good reputation in the community, and ask how familiar that agent is with the neighborhood or community you're buying in. Is the agent regularly selling homes in the price range you're interested in? Some agents focus on selling high-end homes and may not be suitable if, for example, you are a first-time home buyer looking at entry-level homes. If you're looking for special types of properties, such as manufactured housing or a 4-unit building, find out if your agent has specialized in these before. You can't possibly expect your agent to drop everything and come show you a home just because it's convenient for you, any more than you can expect your doctor to cancel other appointments to accommodate you for a non-emergency checkup. But knowing the general times your agent is available is important so your schedules can sync. How tech-savvy is your agent? They don't need to have gadgets hanging out of their ears, but a good agent is also an efficient one, taking advantage of all the tools that are available today to make sure you don't miss an opportunity. Can they retrieve email on their cell phone? Do they text message when unable to call? Can they set you up on an automatic property search by email? Do they have online access at an instant to monthly payment calculations and property data as well as GPS in their car or on their cell phone? Is the agent a good negotiator? Remember that they will be negotiating price and terms on your behalf, much like an attorney would for you in a traffic court. What's their policy for returning messages? Expecting a callback moments after you leave a voicemail is often impractical and simply unfair on the agent. You wouldn't want your agent interrupted if they were with you showing property, but set times and patterns for returning messages is important. Some buyers prefer email as a primary means of communication. If this is you, let the agent know and see if that works for you both. Don't be afraid to ask for references, and if you get some, be sure to contact them. Is the agent a good listener? For an agent to successfully understand and service your needs, he or she has to listen. How can you tell a good listener from a bad one? If he or she constantly interrupts you when you're speaking or allows other business calls to cause a distraction, be wary. A good listener not only keeps from interrupting, but may ask you to repeat or clarify what you're saying to make sure they understand. In fact, a good agent will typically conduct an initial buyer interview to assess your lifestyle needs, long-term plans, and timing before beginning a home search with you. Be wary of agents who primarily or exclusively want to show you homes they or their company have listed for sale. There's nothing wrong with an agent showing you the inventory his or her company has, but not when they exclude homes that may suit your criteria better. Does the agent readily offer up information, or do you always have to ask? Does he or she work part-time or full-time as a real estate agent? In summing up this section, we can say a good agent is a good listener, ready and willing to learn your wants and needs. Good educator, ever ready with experience and facts to give you an advantage. Good investigator, sniffing out problems and issues as well as good deals. Good negotiator, not intimidated by competition or the selling agent's demands. Good coordinator, able to multitask and oversee multiple processes. Good encourager and counselor. Home buying can be stressful. You may need a shoulder to cry on from time to time. So you've learned some pointers to keep in mind as you interview buyers' agents. As we begin to discuss the last item in this tutorial, you should know that some buyers' agents may ask you to sign a buyer's representation agreement, also known as a BRA. BRAs emerged back in the 1980s to protect buyers from agents who were actually looking out for the seller. One may argue that without such a written agreement, it's not always clear whether an agent is representing you or the seller. Remember, by signing a BRA with you, the agent is legally bound to represent your best interests exclusively. It's just like having an advocate in your corner, duty-bound to make sure your best interests are serviced. The BRA also creates accountability. If you're not happy with their dedication to you, level of expertise, or availability, you can cancel and find someone else. You may ask, by signing a BRA, won't I be restricting myself to only viewing homes when my agent is available to show them? The simple answer is no. You can inform the seller's agent on the yard sign that you have a signed BRA with your own buyer's agent that needs to be honored if an offer is written up, but that you have an interest in viewing that particular home. The seller's agent can safely show you the home without you endangering your best interests. Why would I want to lock myself in with just one agent? Remember, making a commitment to a professional gives you the maximum chance of getting a true commitment back. If you are a loose cannon, running around calling every yard sign or every newspaper ad, you can't possibly expect the highest quality of service from anyone, since no one can feel comfortable staying loyal to you. The reality is that because of the expertise a buyer's agent brings, signing a BRA can end up saving you lots of money. But whether you sign a buyer's agent agreement or not, choose one agent and stick with him or her. A real estate contract is a legal, binding agreement, which has consequences for all parties involved. Representing yourself in a real estate transaction without the free expertise of your buyer's agent can be dangerous and is really unnecessary. Who wants to be left holding the bag on a home with $50,000 worth of mold damage that went unnoticed, or lose an earnest deposit because your loan didn't close on time? These and many other problems can be avoided by putting a hard-working buyer's agent to work for you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to contact the featured real estate professional who provided you with this informative video tutorial.